All right, well, welcome
Yay!
back, guys.
You
Sorry
can't
about that.
stop us. You can
Yes.
try, but you cannot.
So I'll kind
Yeah,
of.
we just covered some really killer stuff too, Rico. It's just a
I
shame
know.
that you missed it, the listening audience missed it. This happens a lot. We'll carry on for about 10 minutes before we realize one's watching.
Yes.
And that's just what that's it was very zen to say the least.
Yes. Well, totally apologize, guys out there that are watching. And if you are watching, please reshare this link for the other people that might have missed it. Hopefully they didn't leave just because it crashed. We had an issue here with G+, but nonetheless, we're back, and hopefully everything's straightened out here. So, guys, as always, you can tweet us at WS Roundtable. Again, that is WS Roundtable to ask us questions, and we will get to those later on in the show. But let's first start off with highlighting products. So, Christian Grossman, before we kind of do a small Q&A with you,
okay.
Let's highlight some gear that you might have.
Okay, since I guess I'm going to go back since the last time Ducks and I really talked, and that was, we started a discussion that led to this, and it was because we were talking about the Harvest Moon.
Yeah.
Really good stuff. Well, I told him I think the scent is better than Alphine for me. I mean, there's a particular ingredient in there that Douglas would be able to chime in more about, but basically, for lack of a better word, it will mess with your pheromones, and it's very alluring. But you know what? I live out here in the middle of nowhere in Gettysburg. I'm about 4 miles from the battlefields, and I live on all this farmland. And just to smell this hay and just it just like you've described, it seems like you're standing out in the field, and man, it is so nice. So that's one. The other two things I got are now I believe sold out. So I'm kind of like on my high horse. Is the scuttle. There's a scuttle. Okay. Now the cool thing about this is I've been looking at scuttles, and and I'm kind of like David. I'm not a big scuttle person, but every once in a while I'd like to use one. All I had before was a coffee mug. So I started looking at the scuttle that usually everybody buys, that real huge, I don't want to say the name, but everybody kind of knows that pottery place makes it.
Mm-hmm.
But then you go on and look at the price of it, and I'm like, how much am I going to use this thing versus the price? And I'm not a big fan of just kind of like throwing money around like that. But he came out with this one, and I said, what, I'm going to give it a try. And I got to tell you, I mean, this thing it's really nice. It's the perfect size. The inside here is just, it has all the creases and the lines, and it really does work. And I'm not really versed at using a scuttle, but every time I use it, it's perfect. So thanks for making that, or ordering it, or designing it, or whatever you do. Last thing, and I'm glad Christian is on here, because I actually contacted him this week. I got this bad boy because I want to try to do a straight razor shave. So I wheeled this thing and put the blade in, and I know you can't really tell, but I got a really nice nick right here. It's actually it's a two-pass nick. One went down and stuck in. I'm like, ooh, that really hurts. I pulled it out. I'm like, well, I'm not going to stop. I'm going to go this way, and the tip of the razor got into the same cut. So at that point, I stopped.
Sorry, Christian.
It's just one thing with me is I if I start something, I'm gonna finish it. But I made myself stop. Face full of blood. It did look cool, and I took some really cool shots, sent them to my wife. But then I was so mad that I actually contacted Christian and said, hey, look, you put this thing up for a raffle. But luckily, he couldn't do it.
And you're giving up on it.
But then I calmed down. I'm like, you know what? That was just somebody somewhere telling me to stick with it. So I will stick with it. But I mean, I'm telling you what, for the price, the value, these things, at least for somebody like me who wants to try and not want to invest in, a strop and this and that and get it home, this is a really good value. It's really cool. Sorry they're sold out, but I'm sure that there's more coming in.
And it coming back. That's user error, and that's like it's like a lather. There's plenty of soaps I've gotten, and it's taken me a week to figure out how to use it, and I gotta do that before I cast any judgment on it. And it's same thing with Chevette. Like the only problem is with Chevettes or a razor or anything like that is you hurt yourself with it, and so you don't. You know, like that's nature saying don't try that again. You burnt yourself. Do not pick it up again. But being who we are, humans, we got to pick it back up and learn it, you know, and that happens with Chevettes a lot. That actually happened to me too. I put down Chevette for a long time because it's its own unique animal. It's a whole other thing to learn. So some of us don't have the patience for it, but otherwise, you know.
Yes, those
bad props for staying with it, Christian.
Yes.
Well, yeah, stick with it. It's like I think anything in wet shaving. You just gotta take time. I think sometimes the best thing to do is put it on the shelf for a while, let it sit. You kind of let yourself kind of say, okay, let me wrap my mind around how I'm going to handle this beast, and then come back to it in a few weeks or so. I know I cut the heck out of myself with a what do you call those? Feather Artist Club, those the commissary kind of style ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that thing hurt. Real quick for me on highlighting some gear that I'm using. Obviously, I think one of the guys on Twitter mentioned my beard, which is coming in kind of awesomely. It's getting there. In one of my videos recently, I just mentioned how to take care of a beard. One of the things I think guys skip is exfoliating your skin, and this is just a natural. I really like this one. It's cheap. It's this charcoal, volcanic ash, and antioxidants and goji berry and stuff. There's nothing really to it. There's nothing stripping away your oil or anything. It's just kind of scrubbing your face, and this really, really helps with the irritation and stuff, letting the dead skin cells kind of get away. The last soap I used, and I might have already talked about this once, but the last soap I had used before growing the beard was Tim's soap, and this is Cimarron. It's like a fantastic vetiver. It's like this really clean, fresh vetiver scent, and I'm totally digging this stuff. So I'm looking forward to, when I do shave, using this again. And then I walked on over to Sephora. I highly recommend guys doing this. It's a little weird, might be a little out of your comfort zone. Walk over to the women's section of the fragrances.
I knew this was going someplace.
Yeah, you knew it. And this is Hermes Elixir de Merveille. And I totally butchered this French, Mr. Levesque. I'm sorry. This is a woman's fragrance, and it is fantastic. A dude can rock this for sure. It's got something dirty in it, patchouli. It's got patchouli and some kind of orange peel, and it's fantastic. Sexy fragrance. So, guys, tighten your belt. Walk on over to the ladies section in Sephora and sniff some ladies' fragrances because they're awesome. Not all of them. Some of them are too girly. Some of them are pretty awesome.
Sometimes the bottle's more girly than the scent. It's like, I can't have that on my stink.
Yeah, the bottle for this one, it's actually a beautiful bottle, but it's looking at it, you're like, nah, that's a girl fragrance.
I already have an extra toothbrush in my little jar, you know. That's to clean my razors with. But if Fran sticks her head in there and now sees a bottle of women's perfume, she's going to think the wrong thing, you know. Like, and it doesn't even sound like, no, I'm wearing women's perfume now. It just sounds so like I'm making shit up. So it's like.
I know. But I'm a big proponent of, as far as scents go, ignoring genders, because there's no such thing as a gender on a scent. It's just something society's kind of created on that.
Social construct.
Yes. And so, David, what do you got for us?
Oh man, with the meetup that happened last week, I had so much stuff sent to me for either samples or just people wanting me to try. So I'm about to filibuster this show right now because I have an excess of shit going on right now. So now I actually had to limit the stuff that I brought on here, but still probably more stuff than ever. I'm gonna feel like Marty Pape because he usually takes about a half hour to talk about his products.
We love Marty.
Yeah, but
he's watching, I'm sure.
I am sure. So I have 2 razors, 2 brushes, and 2 soaps that I'm gonna talk about. I'll try to make it brief.
Yes.
Well, first I purchased a razor. The first razor I've purchased in probably damn near a year. I got this Philharmonica Sub-Zero from our buddy Mark Gurgis over there in in Australia. Fantastic edge, beautiful condition razor. It is a vintage. It's not new old stock. You can see some signs of age, but it's absolutely beautiful. The hollow ground is like perfect on this thing. The second razor I got sent to me by a dude named Tom Boniello, I believe is how you say his last name. He is from New York. He sent me a Silverloaf custom razor. For those of you guys that are not familiar with Silverloaf, he's another one of the gentlemen that's very popular on Instagram. He's part of the Instagram scene, and he usually specializes in making some really big-ass razors. So I got sent this thing.
Whoa.
It's a 10/8. A 10/8 razor, so obviously that's over an inch, about a little under an inch and a quarter. So it's an absolute monster.
That's a meat cleaver.
Yeah, oh yeah, it absolutely is. And I've already posted a video using this thing, and I got so many PMs and comments of people just shocked that I'm able to maneuver this thing the way I did. And it's an absolute monster, but beautiful. Beautiful work.
Can you hold up a quarter or something next to it for so I can see scale?
Show your other razor that you had, maybe. Like
yeah,
that.
or did he raise it?
I'm gonna check this out. So you see this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
This is a 13/16, I believe.
Wow.
That is a butcher's. Yeah, that's like that reminds me of the Circle the Wagon blade that Ryan Stephen Green designed.
That's a beautiful razor. I've actually seen that one. And one little touch that is actually really impressive in this. It's kind of hard to see on this camera because of the mirror finish, but there's actually brass inlay on the
yeah,
looks
that's
like
cool.
rolls.
Yeah, you have little brass inlays. It's a black buffalo horn. You see some white streaks going through with the brass stacked washers. Very well done by Silverloaf, man. I'm really impressed with the work. Absolutely smooth edge on this, so good quality metals used for it. Now I got a couple soaps.
All right.
Our buddy Peter Trikalis, friend to the show, he's actually launching his website coming December 1st of all exclusive items that are exclusive to his website. And here is a soap that he's coming out with, British Fern.
Oh, nice.
So it's some sort of fougere. I'm not an expert on fougères. I'm just not a big fragrance guy, so it's hard for me. But it's really nice. It's clean. It's green. It's a little dirty. Really nice. And this one right here is made by Van Yule. I'm actually a fan of Van Yule, so that actually turned out really nice for me. And then also, Monica Gillum did a favor for me. I was really depressed that Soap Commander discontinued their white tea and ginger soap, and the Douglas discontinued his black tea soap. So I was just having a random conversation. Me and Monica probably talk about once a week about shaving, and she asked about football. She's good people right there. Well, she actually came out with this scent as a favor to me, black tea and amber. There's some other stuff in it, and I have it like on my messages from Facebook, but there's other stuff than just black tea and amber, but it's an awesome scent.
So you were looking for a tea scent? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, because I'm a big fan of the whole black tea. I love black tea.
Tea Party 508, baby.
Well, I didn't even know about that until the meetup. I just barely seen that on the meetup.
Chico.
You got to remember, I have Shave Revolution right down the street from me, so my days of actually looking on the websites have actually pretty much passed me. If it ain't at Justin's, I probably haven't seen it.
No.
So so through a conversation though, this came to be, and it's fucking fantastic. So
wow.
I like this thing, and I will check out your Tea Party one, Douglas. Please don't be upset with me. I love you still.
Wow.
And now my two brushes. I'll get through these. I was given a couple brushes to try out to test out the knots. One is from Shave Revolution. This is going to be Justin Park's Manchurian Badger.
Oh, wow.
He just put this knot together. It's a hybrid fan bulb knot. This is going to kill, man. This one right here, once he actually releases it, this is going to destroy it.
What's the name of the knot?
It's a Manchurian Badger knot.
I thought, was there something else? Fan?
It's a hybrid. It's a hybrid bulb and fan. It's not completely flat like a lot of fans you'll see, and it's not bulby. It's a kind of mixture of the two to help with the way it splays. Also, having that slight bulbiness helps with the backbone a bit more, but you don't want to go full bulb on it because then it's too stiff to use. So
You never want to go full bulb.
yeah, on the Manchurian. So
Yeah, no, actually,
this one,
sometimes I have to disagree with that. Sometimes you do want to go full bulb if you want
Yeah.
that punchy. No, if you want that, no, I'm not joking around. If you want that punch, like in a scuttle, if you're a bowl, or if you're using like a punchy like bulb, like you know.
I was
Sorry.
making a joke. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
I know.
yeah, but
I mean,
absolutely
yeah, I
awesome.
totally knew.
A lot of backbone. You guys are a
More
fucking
wine.
mess.
Sorry.
Yeah, a lot of backbone and the
Probably
and the
not even
tip-
live right now, anyways.
No, we're
I know. Who knows? I
Continue.
know. You're gonna have to edit the shit out of this one.
Yeah.
So this is a great one, and also Tim Blem. I guess he's been passing around this handle with one of his silver tip knots, which is absolutely amazing as well. From what I understand, his knots are actually pretty standard as with gel tips. This knot that I got to try out is a gel tipped silver tip one. The knot that Busta got for his custom handle is silver tipped as well. And Douglas sells these some custom Blam Brushworks handles, so he'd probably be able to speak on the quality of knot as well. It's just some good stuff, man. So
I don't think many people. I don't know anyone that has the same knot.
Wow.
no, this is an absolute unique knot. More backbone than a Savile roll. It reminds me of the backbone of maybe a Thader 2-band, but it's in the 3-band and it has the gel tip. So it's a very nice combination. Tim Blem did a hell of a job sourcing these knots out, man.
Wow.
Really, really impressive. So if you haven't not checked out one of his, man, you got to go see it. So I just love all this. These little companies, man, are just doing big things. This Shave Revolution knot's going to kill, and this knot's killer as well. So again, I'm probably thinking about asking Tim if I could just buy this off of him.
Wow.
Because I really like it. The handle's great. He does an awesome
Yeah,
inlay
that's cool.
at the bottom. It's an actual inlay. It's not paint. It's not a sticker. It's just that's hell of attention to detail right there. That's awesome. So
Yeah,
I love
that
this
is
stuff.
awesome. So David is like whipping out the large products this week. It's like the monster blade and then the monster brushes. Those are beautiful brushes, by the way.
Man, I told you I had to limit the stuff. I still have aftershaves. I have all kinds of shit that I can still show, but
Well, we'll
it's
get
just
to
been
that
a crazy
next
couple
week.
weeks.
We'll get to all that stuff next week.
Yeah, that's the thing with meetups, especially if you're like a YouTube personality too. Like if any YouTube personalities are watching me and you haven't been to a meetup yet, go to a meetup and you will have material to review for the next 2 months of your life.
Yes.
And
Sick.
brute.
And brute. Yeah.
Brute.
Oh man. There
Yeah.
we go. Classic. So
Brute
Douglas,
too.
what do you got for us?
Well, I've had, it seems like a couple weeks. I didn't really touch upon this stuff last week because I was at the meetup, so I only hopped in for a second. So I'm gonna show you a few things. First of all, look who's back. That's right.
Did you
For those
sit
who are
on
following, no, I did not sit on that.
that?
For those of you who are following my perils here, I picked up one of these a month ago, and I only had it for about 3 days before someone here at my shop threw it out or something. I don't know what the hell happened to it, but it just disappeared, and I only got probably 3 shaves out of it, so I really hadn't made my mind up yet. This is a vintage antique Neogam. I'm almost certain that's the name, since it's the biggest font there. But made in Germany, probably early 40s. Yet the instructions are in Italian, which is odd. But
is weird.
well, it was the 40s, so who knows? But this is a slant razor, and it's not your traditional slant you know and love. This one is actually a slanted head. So you drag it down on the face, as like so.
The official razor
And it
of
notice
Joseph
how
Stalin.
it matches my chin strap perfectly. It's very dramatic, I suppose. But yeah, this thing kicks ass. The only problem I have with it, the only thing I can see as a problem, because I actually get excellent shaves with it, is you can only go up or down with it. Doing it from the side, it's really not a natural thing to pull something like this across your face.
Yeah.
So since shaving, I was talking with the guys earlier about this, since shaving is, wet shaving is, it's not really just shaving, it's hair reduction with every pass. With that in mind, you could probably do 4 passes, 2 down, and then 2 up, and you're just reducing the hair with each stroke. I don't think it would be a bad thing. It'd be something to try, especially with a razor such as this. So if you can find one of these Neogams, they'll pop up on Etsy or eBay every now and then.
So is that kind of mild? Or
It's
is it
mild.
aggressive?
It feels very mild.
Wow.
It's got a mild attack, but the shave is close. And
That shit looks menacing.
it does, but as
No.
with most razors that I enjoy, their bark is bigger than their bite. They typically come with an extra metal clip because this is how. Check it out. So it's not your typical unscrewed type situation here. This actually slides off.
Oh wow.
So see, there's a little that right there. You would slide this on.
That's the craziest razor I think I've ever seen in my life. That's cool.
And so it comes with an extra clip just in case you lose that one. And both of them that I've ordered so far have that extra clip. So really cool NeoGam. I highly recommend it for people that are into the historical aspect of slant razors, the evolution of slant razors anyways, to try that out. And again, it's a great shaver. I see a lot of people going back to single-edge blades or single-edge razors,
Yeah.
and that's cool. But this is the stuff you really want to get into if you really want to try some unique stuff that not a lot of people are trying or have an opinion on because they've never tried it. So I'd like to see that come back. And anyone out there looking for a Kickstarter campaign,
Yes.
I want to see next.
I do want to see
This
that.
does a double-edged blade. It's not a single-edged blade. It's a double-edged blade. So we can still use our favorite blades, not proprietary, in this and get a killer shave. So please make that come back. Next, I too have been using the Crown King Scuttle, of course. I actually brought this with me on the road while I was traveling, and it travels really well. And it's this mug is thinner than this bowl. Like I mean,
Wow.
this is like the diner mug quality. I brought one with me to the meetup just so people could hit it and go, okay, this is actually pretty diesel.
Wow.
Great scuttle. I really love it. I'm glad to see this design finally come to life. So I've been using that. I've been using a lot of blades.
Oh
And
yeah.
every now and then I feature these. I don't see a lot of these showing up a lot of times in shaves of the day.
Those are good blades.
It's a great blade. It doesn't get enough attention. So check out some Lattes, people, when you get a chance. Another thing I've been using this 2 weeks ago before the meetup was Tiki's. Now this is pineapple, lavender, avocado.
Oh man.
And yeah, I don't know if she's using this label on all the versions of this, but if you can get this, and if you have this, Deja Fougere, these two, because pineapple's the top note on this, they go so well together.
Wow.
David, do you have this one? I thought, or is it Marty?
No, that
I
tiki
think probably Marty.
I don't have. Wait, which
Someone talk-
tiki is that one?
It's like pineapple lavender. It's pineapple,
No, I
lavender,
don't have it.
avocado, and pikake. And this is just like it's very fougere. It's a sweet fougere, if you ask me. But
Wow.
again, they pair so well together. Another thing
Yeah, I
I've been
have her fougere. I have her fougere, but it's a little bit more earthy.
yeah, no,
Not
this is
overly
like,
earthy like Martin de Condre, but it's a little bit more on that side.
this is great with a pineapple top note. It's just something else. And then I've been using Briar, because this, let me tell you, this is Fran's, like, this is her baby. Briar was one of the most popular pedal pusher fancy scents out there, and we had to discontinue it. She had to discontinue it because there were certain resins and essential oils she couldn't get from her source anymore, and it totally screwed up the entire scent.
Oh wow.
So it's been like 3 years of digging around trying to source the stuff that we needed. Finally found the connection. It's been like a month waiting for it, but it's back, and we managed to recreate it exactly how it originally smelled. So
Awesome.
Briar is back, and I'm also making an aftershave now. These are new containers too. So a little tip
Yeah,
out there:
those are cool.
if you're into our 8-ounce tins, scoop them up now, people, because they're not going to be around forever. It's just we can get more done making one size. This is 4 ounces, and it's still a huge surface area to work with, and it won't dent. So Bailey, this is for you, and it just saves us time. So we're just making one size so we can create more new wonderful things. Another thing that we did end up releasing that I've been using too is our new brushes. This one's the Rook, and that's also Tallywood, David. I don't know if it was you and I that were talking about that, but it's pretty bulbous. This is like a classic like barber's
Yeah, that's
brush.
awesome.
And this is also, I switched the Doro knots. The Doro knots I've been using up until now are nice. They're wonderful knots. In fact, I could keep all 3 if I wanted to, but I found this other source. And I have to admit, at first I thought it was the same knot. Then when I got it in, this is like in between the Doro I was using and the Suave. So you see, it's kind of gray. It's gray teddy bear hair. But this is like, it's so, I wish you could feel it. It's almost like the gel tips. It's got that same like feel, David, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, definitely.
So that handle we introduced.
I really
and-
wouldn't know the difference though, because I've actually never was able to review those brushes, anyways.
Yeah, I meant to give you one when we were at the meetup, but we didn't spend enough time together, you jackass. And this is the other handle. And this is actually a Suave knot. So
Yeah.
So it's pretty sexy, feels really great in the hand. These were released this week. I have a lot of people asking me in PMs when they're coming back. They're really looking for this one, which is the Tally Long Rider. It's back also. I just wanted to make that announcement to people that are watching. And I'm pretty sure that's what I've been doing for the last 2 weeks when it comes to razors and products. Con, what do you got?
Yeah.
Okay, what do we got here? Let me see. We'll start very quickly with razors. Really been enjoying the Rapira Platinum Lux.
Those are awesome.
Very capable blade.
Very affordable.
Very comfortable blade as well. If you haven't tried those, give them a go, please, and do yourself a favor. I've been rocking the La Toya stick. Been going through a hard soap thing at the moment, and I've just, even though I've been doing a bit of traveling, but I like to use this even when I'm not traveling. Just sort of dial it in and everything. Wonderful soap, beautiful, clean, fresh, soapy fragrance. You cannot go wrong with that. Speaking of not going wrong, I've also been using Saponificio Varesino's Manna di Sicilia, which is a beautiful soap,
Awesome
wonderful
scent.
soap.
Oh, I love that shit.
The scent on this, and I'll match it up with a fragrance that I've been using with it, David. Which, if you're interested to investigate and see what you can match it with, but this is a wonderful product because it uses manna, which comes from a native Italian Sicilian ash. Well, not from heaven, but it comes from Sicily.
Different manna.
And what they do is they make an incision in the trunk of the tree, and this sap-like substance comes out, which is very sweet. It's also used as a delicacy, but it provides some very unique properties to this particular soap, Manna di Sicilia. And I have been pairing that with Acqua di Parma's Blue Mediterranea Mirto di Panare, which is a lovely, lovely scent, and it goes very well. Goes very, very well with the Manna di Sicilia. Grazie.
Nice. That's awesome, man. Christian Levesque, do you by chance have anything you want to highlight?
I wasn't prepared for that at all.
No, you're good. So we've got Christian on, guys. So you are aware, we're gonna later in the show. I'll kind of tease it right now. We are going to talk about Movember, and we are going to be doing a drawing for this week's Movember. So Christian's kind of hanging out. And if you want to jump in at any point in time, if you have something to add to the conversation, please feel free to do so. I don't want you to just feel like you're just sitting there. So watching the show semi-live, that's kind of weird. So as always, guys, stay tuned for the drawing that's coming up and info on Movember. As you can see, most of us, actually almost all of us, except for our special guest, have some kind of facial hair going on. And nothing wrong with no facial hair to our guests.
Yeah, we're not judging you, Christian.
Yeah, we're not judging.
I actually had facial hair, and we'll get into this. I consult now, so
You heathen.
I had to go into a clean room, and unfortunately, you have to don everything. And,
I consult too.
So
we have to get back to Christian also at some point too. I don't think his interview came out.
So guys, this is the science episode. If you guys maybe missed our intro, we had the cool 80s science song going on, which I actually like that song a lot.
Of course, Thomas Dolby, man. Come on.
Yeah, it's a great song. And so we've kind of got some sciencey stuff, and we'll talk about why after I tell you this really quick. Tweet us at WS Roundtable, and we'll get to your tweets and questions and comments later on in the show. So Christian, Mr. Grossman.
Yes.
So
Hello.
I think we missed the beginning part on the show with.
I warmed you up,
Google.
Christian.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to do it all over again with Rico.
All right.
I'm gonna use the bathroom. Now I'm gonna disappear while Rico does. We'll see who does a better job.
Yeah, that's okay. So, Christian, tell our audience out there, who are you, what do you do, and how does that relate to science?
Okay, I am a microbiologist. So most people know what that is, but if you don't know what it is, basically what I do is I look at bacteria, yeast, and molds. So, and to put that a little bit more perspective, when you hear things on TV about E. coli and hamburgers, that's me. Hear about salmonella with chicken, that's me.
Mr. E. coli, baby.
Yeah, that's me. California has a lot of E. coli problems, but we'll,
Oh, wow.
everybody's eating a burger out there at some burger joint in there. Hasn't been for a long time, but so all that wrapped in what I do, what I've done most of my life is work in industrial microbiology, and that looks at processes when we make stuff. It could be anything from. Let me put it this way: I used to work in a cosmetic and fragrances division. So when they were making cosmetics and eyeshadows and things like that, I had to look at everything from the components, caps, bottles, things like that, all the way to every raw material that was put into that product, all the way up into the production and finished product, so that anywhere along the way there was no contamination or contamination added to the product. Also, made sure that there was enough preservative in the product so that it would remain stable, and also keep people from making themselves sick.
I see.
David, take note.
Yeah. So, Christian, you are the guy that helped make stuff safe for us.
That's correct.
Consumers. Okay. Do you want to say who you used to work for?
Oh, sure. I worked for Procter & Gamble for 15 years. I've worked for a couple startups. I actually did some stuff with animal food and animal products, and also have done things with the medical device divisions of a couple places. But Procter & Gamble is where I got my start. So I learned a whole lot about how things are made. I also learned about marketing and branding through the eye of Procter & Gamble. So that kind of got us into this when I started having discussions with Douglas, and he kind of, we started talking. He kind of realized that, I really did understand what he was talking about.
Yeah, yeah. We'll delve into that in one moment. So I ask everybody this question, and I just think it's important to hear people's stories. How long have you been wet shaving, and how did you get into it?
I actually started wet shaving probably early this year, probably around March. I had been thinking about it for a long time, years. I danced around it. It seemed that I wanted to do what my grandfather did. When I grew up going over to my grandfather's house, he would always have a Gillette razor over there, and just fascinated watching him shave. And as you know, jumping ahead in years, Procter & Gamble bought Gillette. They acquired Gillette, and kind of learned that whole business, and just watched the price of those things go up and up and up. And it's the same story that everybody says, I got this, 5-blade whatever, and it costs, $19 for 4. At some point in time, I just said, it was around this year, I'm like, I'm just going to go ahead and dive in and do this. Well, luckily for me, I don't know about everybody else, but I'm a super inquisitive kind of guy. It's a scientist in me, so I just went right on the internet and literally within 5 minutes found a Nick Shaves video.
Yeah.
I'm like, look at this guy. So he's up there and in his bathroom and doing all this stuff. I'm like, well, you check this out, So I'm watching. I started watching a lot of videos. I saw David's video. I've seen Bus's video, and I'm like, there's something to this. So I actually started looking around and really looked at what they had in their hand, looking at different products, and I just started going online and seeing how all these people had things, and did a couple orders, and the first time I did it, I'm like, I remember the first time I did it, I stood there and with my hand just shaking, like, this is really going to hurt, and I just really, and I went with it, and literally, it's not as bad as it seems.
Yeah.
So I want to tell all the new people out there, because really, I'm into my first year. It really is a really cool, fun time to just take care of yourself. I mean, because as guys, we don't do that. We're rush. People get, our wives, girlfriends get things for us, but it's fun to sit there and just have fun with it. I mean, everybody's going to look at you and say, because my friends do too. When I talk to them about it, they're like, wow, you sniff shave cream? I'm like, you don't understand. You don't understand. It's a brotherhood, and then they're like, well, you got to understand. I grew up in Baltimore City, so my friends are like, you just want to be quiet about that. It really is a cool experience. For me, it was more. Every time I did, it reminded me of my grandfather.
Yeah.
And I said, this is how guys really did it. This is how men were, and it it's a good feeling when I leave in the beginning of the day when I leave and I walk out the door. I've done something that says, hey, one, I paid homage to my grandfather in some weird way, but also I'm just part of a movement maybe that's going forward.
Yeah, we have a guy here, and I guess this is it sums it up pretty good. He said it's that Zen experience, I guess, that you're kind of describing. So yeah, so Stephen, thanks for chiming in there on Facebook. So coming from kind of Procter & Gamble, this big giant massive corporation that owns who knows what they really own, everything.
Yes, sure.
What about the artisan community do you really like?
Okay, what I really like about the artisan community is that it's small guys.
Hey, I'm the perfect height for my weight.
I should say like a small business, small ownership. It's getting back to somebody making things for people that the quality is good, because really that's all they have to stand on. I mean, if you look at a corporation like Procter & Gamble, I can call and say, hey, this stuff was bad, didn't work out right. Okay, they'll send me a coupon, and they're still going to make another million batches of it. Where the small guy says, when we talk back or give feedback to Douglas or these other artists and say, hey, look, this is burning my face or this is doing this, he's going to look into that. Because if he gets enough people saying something, he's going to look into that and make changes. He's going to look out for each other, and we look out for each other. The big corporation will, once you like something, and this is what a lot of people don't understand. Once you like something, they will make it that way as cheap as they possibly can, and I mean cheap. You have no idea. I can tell you that, when I talked about the cosmetics, we would make lipstick, and when people see lipstick in the store, I can make one store's amount of lipstick. They could make that in probably about 45 seconds. Okay, that's how fast that stuff would roll off.
Oh, wow.
Okay, it would cost at the time. It would probably cost 30 cents to make that lipstick, and they would charge $7 for it. But the quality of the material in the product was not very good. It was enough to get you what you wanted, but it's sort of like a craft beer. If you like beer, you drink craft beer, and say, man, this is really good. Or you can drink a Budweiser, and I like Budweiser, so don't, I'm not good Budweiser.
Yeah.
Because the best beer out there is cold beer. But if you drink a craft beer versus a big name beer, you can tell the difference.
Yeah.
People are putting their effort into it. It means a lot to them when they're making good product. And I think we need to go back to these small artisans and vendors.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think one of the things there's something about, and I know we've talked about this on other shows before, there's something about knowing the person that made the product and knowing that it was made by hand and knowing that somebody put, kind of their blood, sweat, and tears into it beyond, it's not just some...
That's illegal now.
Yeah, but not just beyond, like a factory, somewhere that they're just kind of, like you said, 45 seconds or whatever to make a lipstick. That's insane. And they're probably pumping out, I don't know, thousands of those an hour or something. I don't know how many.
Easy 1,000 an hour. Easy.
So I always like to throw a curveball, fun question at you. Since you do this microbiology stuff, are you a mad scientist?
Yes.
Okay.
So yeah, I will tinker with anything and everything. And Douglas can understand this. A lot of people say, better not, and I say, well, why not? Let's find out. It didn't blow up on me, so let's find out.
Yeah. So
you brought up something actually really interesting, Christian.
Yeah, go for it.
I don't know if this was caught before, but we were before we were off the air chatting with ourselves. But you were talking about how larger companies, corporate companies, buy in bulk, whereas artisans, we buy in bulk, but not as much. So we were at the end of the day, we're paying more for the raw commodities or the raw ingredients. And that in mind, the difference between a corporate, we'll say shave soap maker for the conversation, versus an artisan shave soap maker is we can stop on a dime and alter our recipes because we're not that invested in them as well. Whereas a corporate maker, they've already bought so much of this raw material that maybe some people are having an allergic reaction to, but they're not going to toss it out. That recipe's done. They're not looking for your feedback at that point. They've already done their trials and whatnot before they, well, hopefully before they invest in all this raw product. But now they have X amount in it. So I mean, where the difference is between like communicating with them, because you're never really going to communicate with them. There's all types of gatekeepers that you get on the phone getting paid, $8 an hour to keep you away. Whereas when you talk to us, we can change it just like that, because we're not that invested in the raw materials we're using.
One thing to remember is if there's a problem, if I call the 800 line, it's easier for me as a corporation like Procter & Gamble to give you a $20 coupon or a $20 money card and send you on your way. Because I think the last time that I was at Procter & Gamble, we were able to see their profit statement. They literally had a profit in the billions, and they said they didn't hit their mark. So that kind of tells you where big corporations are going. I mean, Procter & Gamble was a company who was into acquisitions. They acquired Gillette, they acquired Artisan, and they'll buy anybody up because the brand's already there. They don't have to work on that brand or put money into the brand. It sells itself. Gillette will sell itself all day long. So they just make money on it. So there's not a lot. No, there's not a whole lot of specialty that goes into it. It gets lost once you get into a large a format like that. And like
soulless.
And the one thing that hurts small business is like Douglas said, if I'm Procter & Gamble and we're buying the same thing, I'm telling you, hey, I'll buy your raw material and here's a check, and how much? I'll pay this much for it. Where Douglas will say, hey, look, I want this just a little bit, and hey, look, if I don't have enough, I got to give it to somebody. Douglas is not going to get it. They're going to sell it. They're going to give it to me.
Yeah, the bigger contract always wins.
Right.
So we've got a guy here, William Lusk Coppage. He's asking you, Christian, are there any big ingredients that you see in shave/face products today that you suggest that we avoid? And I think that's kind of coming from maybe I don't know if you know the answer to that, or what do you think on that?
I would stay away from any kind of sodium lauryl sulfates. I would stay away from anything that really has any kind of parabens in it. Parabens basically used for stability, as far as making sure that the product itself doesn't become contaminated, because there's a slight amount of water in most products. I would stay away from things like that. The basic rule applies. If it really does, if you can't sit there and read the product list and really just say, okay, it's what it is, it's really not good for you. But I mean, the first thing in a nutshell, you want to watch out for your parabens, because you really don't need them in soap, and you want to watch out for like sodium lauryl sulfates, things like that.
Okay. And maybe Douglas or Con or any of you guys can chime in on this. What is it about sulfates that are so not good?
They can attack. The inhibitors in the body and whatnot, or the different hormones that are released. They can attack. Is anyone else jumping in on this one, or am I?
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay, yeah. So like growth hormone, they can attack as well.
Oh, wow.
That's what they're seeing in the lab with different animals they're testing this stuff on and whatnot. So it's just whenever there's anything questionable like that, where we're not sure if it's good or bad, it's probably best to stay away from it. And as Christian brought up, if you can't pronounce it on the label, you probably want to stay away from it. Or just be cautious is what it all comes down to. But a quick Google search will educate you on all that, on the effects of like aluminum, on the effects of parabens, on the effect, it's just the list goes on and on and on what to stay away from.
Here's another bad one, really bad one to stay away from. It's not necessarily in artisan soap, but you got a lot of people walk around. And I feel for them, because I live half my life like this now. And anytime there's germs or whatever, they'll use the sanitizer, which is alcohol and things like that. But also it has something called triclosan in it. Okay.
Right.
Triclosan is really, really, really bad. And here's the kicker: it really doesn't clean your skin. Here's how you get your hands washed. You wash it with soap and water. It's not the soap that's cleaning your skin. It's the act of moving it around. This is cleaning your skin, not having something sit on there. But triclosan is really, really bad. So when you see triclosan in, say, toothpaste that you put in your mouth, that bad.
Deodorant too.
So when you consult with a big giant company, or when you were with Procter & Gamble and they had something like this in it, you weren't really looking at, is this a good component in the product? You were just seeing on a microbial level, I guess, if it was safe or not.
Right. When it came to something like triclosan that they would put in, obviously myself and the team and the chemist would know that that's really not a great choice. But when you're talking to Procter & Gamble, they can do what they want, right? So what we would do is
okays it.
That's right, and it was that's the main. Douglas knows, as long as it's okay with the FDA, it's the right way to go. One of the problems is, what I would do with that is I would go in and make sure that it was at the correct level, so that it would keep that product stable and not become contaminated, and also that there's a little bit in there because the end user is going to contaminate it. For instance, if you have triclosan in a bottle of toothpaste, as soon as you squeeze that toothpaste out and brush your teeth and you clean it off, the next time you do it, you didn't sanitize that toothbrush. You just wet it with water. So basically, you just fed whatever was on the tip of that brush. Now, it's not going to kill you, but now I'm going to introduce whatever's on that brush, and when I squeeze it onto the tube, I'm going to introduce to the brush, because when I let go of that tube, a little bit's going to go back into the tube, and now
this is a pretty depressing fucking conversation right now. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's making me worried. Like, what do I need to do with
God
my
knows what
toothbrush?
I fucking have in my body right now. Jesus.
No, but
Christ.
it's good. It's good. It's actually.
I guess you guys just fucking ruined my weekend. Thank you.
Those are the good germs, David. Like sometimes, like what you suffered from the food poisoning, that's either from cross contamination or over sanitation. Your body just wasn't exposed to something already.
Right.
Sometimes exposure is sometimes the best medicine in the world, or most of the time, it's the best medicine in the world. Exposure. But we live in such a sterile society.
Douglas is correct, though. Since you've gotten ill and sick and regurgitated all the contents of your stomach, you have nothing in your stomach right now that's protecting you from what you're putting into it. So you need to get.
Not just regurgitated.
Like a baby bird.
Well, on that note,
before we get to that note, Christian, so you were with Procter & Gamble when they attained Art of Shaving.
Yeah.
Were you involved in that, or did you see any insights for us from that end?
No, I mean, it was just one of these things where what they do is they just make an acquisition, and then they just assume whoever worked for that company, say they acquired your company, you would now work for Procter & Gamble, unless you didn't want to, then they'd say they give you the opportunity to work for them, and then you just have to make all your operating procedures the same and that sort of thing.
That's kind of crazy. It's interesting to kind of see what's going on behind the scenes with some of this stuff. I totally unaware of this, and I think we've totally depressed David. So I'm sorry, David, but
clean that door. Clean that door.
His door's clean.
That's why
you got him not suicidal shit. You guys would have pushed me over the edge.
That's why you got guys and girls like me out here. Making sure
they're
getting away with just enough
to make me aware of how filthy we really are. Jesus.
Right. So no, David. So now this weekend, when you go over a friend's house and have a little toddler running around with a diaper and all that stuff and picking a nose and drooling. Yep.
It's funny because you can get really crazy with this stuff. The more you read into it, I mean, like I will watch a person in public if they sneeze. Like, it doesn't end there for me. I watch everything after that. Like, shoot. Then I watch what they do with their hands afterwards. And it's usually, like, right when you're about to meet them, then the hands up, like, oh, hey, how you doing? And you're like...
Nope.
You fist bump.
It's your new boss. You have to shake his hand, though, so it's like... But, yeah, watch the hand afterwards. I'm always curious to see where they're putting it,
Oh, gosh.
Ignorance is bliss.
Yes, sometimes it is.
That's true. That is true.
Yeah.
So this is the in-depth science part of our show. And to kind of change up some gears, Con, let's jump over to Twitter and see what's going on over there. What do you got for us?
It appears that everyone here is either running to the bathroom or
must stay clean. Must stay clean.
They're checking their toothpaste for ingredients and the like. But if I may just chime in with this whole conversation on methyl parabens. Now parabens are actually an excellent preservative.
Yeah.
They're just not good for you.
Oh, they are.
And companies love them because they were able to maintain a longer presence on supermarket shelves without having to have their product replaced. So when you look at research, for instance, that's done on the toxicity of certain products or how they are likely to affect people, the other thing that perhaps we should look at is who is funding that research.
Exactly. They're funding their own
They're funding their own research, and they're saying that the evidence, for instance, on parabens is inconclusive. Their arguments are spurious, and all that sort of thing. But apart from because parabens are kind of they're esters. They're basic or they're byproducts of petrochemicals and things. Now, if you want to put that on your face, that's fine.
Let's get back to that byproducts. Continue on though.
They're byproducts. So that's a very important point. The other thing is, and a lot of people don't consider this, is what these products on your face, what effect they have on your skin when you're out in the sun or in UV. There's a lot of phytotoxicity that occurs there, and these are things that we don't see. People say, "Oh yeah, but it's a cloudy day." No, I'm sorry. UV rays are quite dangerous.
Those are the worst. It's
magnified. And they actually react quite seriously with your face. Of course, once the product, of course, all of this is about economies of scale. If a company is producing products at the scale that we were talking about earlier, to stop that process, and redevelop a new production process, a new supply line, that is going to cost a lot of money in terms of their buy. Once they get it in place, it's fine, but they're not as agile, I guess, in making or nimble as making those changes because they're a monolith. They're these huge organizations. And once the production line is established, things become cheaper for them to manufacture. It's mass-produced. It's out there in the marketplace, and that's that. And then when the evidence starts to trickle in, because science is something that constantly examines itself, asks questions of itself, is constantly changing, the changes are not implemented anywhere near as quickly as they should be. Yeah. And I think that's a huge, an enormous problem. And one that's probably worthy of consideration.
I think what Con was talking about there's a good point to that, and that when you look at parabens, yes, parabens they're bad. I mean, they're bad things, but they are meant, exactly what he said, they are meant to keep the product stable in the supermarket or the grocery store or the drugstore for an allotted period of time that is determined by your QA folk. So we'd say, hey, it's got to stay stable for 5 years. We ensure that from the time we make it to the time it'll last 5 years. Now after that, you're on your own, and that's why they batch code everything. The other thing to remember is when you're talking about preservatives and things that are going to triclosan and all that stuff, then everybody says, oh my, it's terrible. And we talked earlier about barbicide, and I love the stuff. Okay, it's bad stuff. It's nasty stuff. But remember, bacteria live in organisms. You want them to die. Okay, so you got to hit it with something hard for it to die, and to make sure it's clean. So unfortunately, you're going to have to use some things that would be bad for yourself that you know that are going to work on these products. The best thing that I say always use is something like bleach, something heavy, and if you want to get it clean, it will be clean. But remember, there's a residue there, and you're going to have to dispose of all this stuff. But it's not necessarily. Don't look at everything in a bad way, because you need it. You need it to survive. If we didn't have all this stuff, then we'd all be getting sick. So
Everclear though, Everclear. I mean, they're it's more bang for your buck. You have a party happening on the weekend, Everclear. You have a hospital you want to sanitize, Everclear.
Everclear. Yeah. Something Con said just a moment ago to touch on, and I've heard this, that one of the things to look at when there's these studies on if something's good or bad or whatever, you want to see who's funding it, and one of the things I've heard that was kind of crazy was I think it was Coke or Pepsi, one of the big soda companies, And basically, they were funding a study for scientists to tell the public, basically, that sugar in soda products doesn't make you fat. So basically, they were paying scientists to tell them the results that they wanted.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, and it's just like any good book you're pulling information from. Check the bibliography. See where they're sourcing their information from. But back to byproducts too, which Con touched upon, is a lot of the times byproducts the industry has so much byproduct, be it petro byproducts or whatever. They more than what they can do with, more than they can stick in the landfill. So they put their researchers, they put them in charge of looking at that. And is there anything else we can do with this? Because it's free. It's a free commodity we have of byproducts. We're going to either dump it otherwise, but is there something else we can sell it for and make a profit off of? Oh, okay, it works as a preservative as well. Not that good for you, but it works as a preservative. Yeah. Or, hey, it's a heavy metal, but it keeps your teeth clean, cavity free. We'll just stick it in the water. I mean, they're dumping byproducts and stuff all the time because they're cheap, short-sighted, quick fixes for problems that we have that were usually caused by the industry anyways.
Wow. So, Christian, for you, Stephen Davidson is asking if you have any thoughts on essential oils versus fragrance oils. Do you have a preference, or from your science background?
For me, there's really not a whole lot of difference. For me, now, some people have reactions to certain essential oils. I don't know, and Douglas could really answer this. I don't know too many people that have a whole lot of problems with fragrances, although there are some people that sneeze with them. But as far as contact, I think there are definitely some essential oils, and honestly, even for me, at the right concentration, there are some essential oils that would literally burn your skin.
Yeah.
I really don't have a preference. You just, you basically got to. Everybody's different, and you got to just be. When you get something new, you got to try it and figure out what it is. Like clove oil. People have a lot of problem with clove oil. It's very. I don't know if it's more acidic or more basic. I don't know, but it's very very.
It'll burn you.
It'll burn you really good.
Well, it's great. If you have a cavity, it's a great natural. It's like Orajel, which would numb your gums.
Yeah.
You use clove oil instead. That'll numb you right up too.
Yeah, another one, or another two actually, I guess would be like sandalwood and cinnamon. And I know cinnamon, depending on the product, sometimes it doesn't bother me. But I just wore a cologne recently. It had a really strong cinnamon scent. My wife loved it. Smells like Christmas. Sprayed it on. And I looked down. I was like, man, my wrist kind of itching. I looked down. They were bright red. And then I got an email from the company that said, oh, just by the way, I wanted to let you know, some people are reporting some weird reactions to the cinnamon. In that, I was like, well, thanks. Now I found out after the fact. So
typical. It's typical.
Yeah.
That's to do with the energetics of the essential oil. Fragrance oils are a synthetic version of that, so usually they're very similar in like compound wise. But the energetics, like these are hot. Like or seasonings, like cinnamon, you use a seasoning. It's for its hot energetics, or ginger, or clove. So I mean, if it's hot in your mouth, if it's adding like that type of flavor to something you're tasting, chances are it's going to do the same thing in your skin as well. Yeah. It's like the cinnamon burst gum, whatever the wrappers used to lick and stick on your forehead. Like what the hell is that about? But yeah, it's the same thing, cinnamon. So it's to be expected. Or bay rum. That's another one. Sandalwood, I don't see people reacting to that. I haven't heard much about that, but I'm guessing you're talking about the fragrance oil of sandalwood.
Well, I read a book a while back on fragrances, and it was actually the guy from Hermes, Jean-Claude Elena, and he was saying the perfume industry has done a really bad job and kind of hurt themselves by not telling people about kind of the truth behind synthetic versus natural and all this stuff. So a lot of these perfume companies have jumped on the bandwagon saying, yeah, all our stuff's all natural or whatever, and the public thinks, oh, if it's all natural, that means it's better. And his point was, I could get a natural sandalwood. He said, but in natural sandalwood, and I don't know, I'm just making up a number, but there's 900 components that somebody could potentially react with. He said, but I could do cheaper with a synthetic, get the same scent, and in that synthetic, I've only got 2 components, so the chance of somebody reacting to that is less.
Well, Yeah, that really. I mean, yeah, that's always there, especially with, I guess, a tree. People do have allergies to nuts and trees and all that,
Yep.
and resins. So I could see that. But I think my problem is with fragrance oils, is some companies will market it as like only 5 ingredients, and it's like
Yep.
alcohol, water, fragrance, da 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 da. But fragrance oil,
Fragrance is like
legally,
a whole.
yeah, legally you can get away with just putting fragrance, but that's not one ingredient. A synthetic fragrance oil can be made up to 4,000 different ingredients. So that's my problem when it comes to marketing certain things like that. I don't think that's legit. And if I tried doing that, man.
When you look at essential oils, to help Steve understand a little bit and everybody else, think of it like this. Think of it like a jalapeno pepper. Most essential oils are natural, so they're actually what the defense mechanism for whatever it's coming from. So if it's hot, if it's spicy, if it burns, that's because when it's out in nature, I mean, we're talking peppers, bark, whatever's trying to eat it. Onion, same way. You cut an onion, your eyes burn. It's a defense mechanism.
Yes.
So it will have some of the same effects, to us. Obviously, we have the ability to dilute it down or make it stronger or whatever. But yeah, in certain concentrations, man, it's no good.
Wow, man, this is crazy. So I was laughing a second ago. Sorry, Douglas. I wasn't laughing at you. I was laughing at the comment. William,
I'm used to it.
He said, "Did you get the cinnamon perfume at the girls section?" No, I did not get it. I got it from, and this is not a plug. It's my wife got me the subscription for Old Fat Teeth, and it was just one of the samples they sent me. So, no, I did not get it in the girls section. But I'm still a proponent. You need to go check out your girls section on perfumes. There's some stuff out there that's great that I think guys can wear as well. Anyway, let's jump on. You guys want to do the drawing now?
Oh, yeah, yes.
Want to do that? So, Christian, tell us what the drawing is for, and then we'll do it. Announce the winner, and then plug to us the Movember teams.
Sure. Thanks, Rico. It's a pleasure being on board, and it's a very interesting conversation. It's certainly a topic that strikes me quite a bit as I've been trying to move away from synthetics and more onto natural products. They are still both chemical components, but some of them seem to be processed more easily by the human body. So thank you very much, Christian. Great name for all the knowledge that you brought to the table, and Douglas as well, your experience too. It's all very interesting stuff. So I'm on tonight just during the month of Movember. Every week we're having a weekly draw of products from artisans that are actually Mo members. They're members of Movember teams from How to Grow Mustache. And so we're really proud of that. We have 7 of them between both teams, the American team and the Canadian team, and they've all contributed. And so this week, the prize is a brush from blembrushworks.com. So Tim Blem, who makes his own handles and sources his own knots.
Hold that up again, David. Show that inlays on the bottom of that.
Yeah, this is high quality stuff, and the brush that he's giving away this week is his Jolly Roger brush, which is the skull
brush.
And it looks badass.
It's like driftwood.
Yeah, David's got it right here.
Driftwood. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's like a creepy. It's the for what we just had, Halloween going on. This is like the perfect brush if you're into that.
Kind of. I think this is more piratey, more like you see a lot of the skull brushes. Those are more Halloween-y to me. This one definitely says like Jolly Roger, like you see that floating,
swashbuckling Moby Dick kind of.
Yeah, or be pulled part of your dot bag on a motorcycle gang.
Hell's handlebars.
Yeah. Just use a great big diaper pin and pin it to your leather coat and just get on the bike and go. So so it's also made of maple wood, so it's a beautiful hardwood, and it's very intricate work, and it's varnished as well. It's a beautiful brush. So he's giving that away. And so this week, unfortunately, through the promotion that I made through Facebook and Google+, there was one person that bought a whole lot of tickets. So, and there was only one person. So there's no real draw this week. So one of those, let's have a contest, and then what happens if this is one of those. Anyway.
Self-fixed.
Yeah, it's so fixed. That's right. So just to let you know.
So Andrew, I won, is what you're saying.
Wait a minute.
Andrew Goodman donated to the American How to Grow Mustache team, and he shared it amongst all the members of the team. So now everyone has raised something.
I was wondering where that came from.
Yeah, it was very kind of Andrew, and it's a lot because it's a big team in the U.S. It's 54 members. We have 15 members, I believe, in Canada as well. So, there's over 70 people that are growing a mustache or committing to move every day for 30 days.
And they're so good
while
at it.
Fundraising.
Like, my profile is so pathetic. I think I've probably raised about $20, where everyone else is like killing it, But I just I don't have enough time to promote. I feel weird promoting myself, but people, now's my time to promote myself. Please donate to Douglas Smythe. It's lame. It's so sad. It's just sad. Just throw me a buck.
Yeah.
Hey, Christian, can you let everybody know, some people in here that might be watching that don't go to the website, where are we at as far as our total right now?
Okay, so the Canadian team has raised like $1,700, if I remember correctly.
Congratulations.
Of which a big portion of that came from Craig Birchall, who just went on a tear in September and October fundraising.
Before Movember even happened.
Wow.
Yeah. So he was a very active member. So, but the whole team has raised some money as well. All the different individuals have raised money. And in the U.S., we're around close to $2,200.
Wow.
So
Congrats.
Our goal was 2,000. Wasn't our goal 2,000?
Well, yes, I put on the team description that our goal was $2,000, but I didn't know we'd have 54 members. If I knew we'd have 54 members, tell you what, the goal would be $8,000, and I got that number by putting $150 per Mo member to raise.
Yeah.
Globally, last year, Mo members raised about $135 each on average.
Oh, wow.
So some people raise, thousands of dollars, and other people raise a couple dozen dollars. It averages to about 135. So that's why our team, although 2,000 sounds impressive, we have numbers. We are the big guys this time. We're not the small independent. We're a big team, and I think that we should all. It's easy to ask our family for money. Our friends, I do it lightly, by doing my own social media thing, and pretty soon I'm actually going to start calling people who donated last year. And now I understand the importance of holding a donor list.
Yeah.
And you can ask people at work, or at least the mustache is supposed to strike up conversation, and it's supposed to also help you remember to say, look, you want to support me in this cause? I'm growing a mustache.
Yeah.
It's $5, $10, $20. We're always giving to everyone else's charities. Why can't they give to ours? And for once, it's not to feed our acquisition disorder.
Well, everyone wants to wear a mustache now. And I think that's part of the downfall of Movember. Almost now people have become desensitized to the mustache, where it used to be a conversation piece when Movember first started. It did create awareness, and it did create a conversation around men's health. But now we're so used to mustaches, it's like it's overkill with mustaches. We need to find something else. Maybe sideburns next year.
Hey, I would be up for that.
So Christian, you want to? Who was the winner again for the brush?
It was Andrew Goodman.
Andrew Goodman. Congrats,
yeah, he's part of the HitGam G+ community for sure. I know that. And also stay tuned. I'll be promoting this week's upcoming prize for the raffle. It's exciting because we have many prizes on this third week. We have. Matthew Martin North is giving away one of his brushes.
Oh,
He's
wow.
providing a brush as a prize. And
is that next week? Is that this coming week?
It'll be raffle number 3. Yeah.
We should get him on the show this coming week too.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get him.
I
on
want
as
to see
well.
how that brush is made. Actually, let's go visit him in the shop.
Yeah.
And Soapy Bathman is giving away 2 large tins of soap to one winner. So someone will be set up for 6 months of shaving. So anyway, I want to focus on this week though. Blem Brushworks, Jolly Roger, fantastic brush.
Yeah,
And
his work is
Benjamin.
awesome.
Congratulations on winning that brush. It was a tough raffle for you, but you won, and we're so happy that your generous donation actually came true for you as well, personally. So thank you very much, everyone, for supporting Movember.
Salud.
If you want to give some money to the team or an individual, it's MovemberTeamHitGam.com, and in Canada, it's hitgam-team.com. And any amount works. $5, $10, $20, $100 works really well. And, to either the whole team or to a particular member on the team. It all goes into the same pot to help research for testicular cancer, prostate cancer, poor men's mental health, and to help raise awareness to move around. So I've been walking a lot more since Movember started. I use it as a motivation. And my back is bad to do any other kind of rigorous exercise. But walking, I get my heart rate up, I get a sweat, and I'm listening to podcasts while I'm doing it. It's very easy to do. It's tough to schedule, but it's easy to do once you motivate yourself. So everyone, even if you're not part of a Movember team, just to do a bit of physical activity does body good, and it actually helps with your skin and growing your beard.
Stash.
And shaving and stash. That's right. It's starting to feel something now. It's starting to feel it.
Well, thanks,
Thank
Chris.
you very much.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for all the info, and thanks for helping with the Movember team. It's pretty awesome.
He's
what
the
you guys are
captain.
doing. He is the captain. And also, guys, if you are not following Christian Levesque online, you should follow him because he posts these really cool pictures with his daughter, and they hold up what day it is for the mustache. I don't know why. It's just such a cool picture. I just love those pictures, man. So keep
that
posting
that
those.
little girl's adorable, so she really,
It's a cheat. He's cheating. I don't have a little girl with me. It'd be creepy if I did.
Get a puppy.
You got a little girl or a
Get
puppy? Yeah, exactly. Jesus. I got nothing. I got a hat.
That would just be creepy, man.
Yeah, next week I have a little girl sitting in my lap, and I don't mention her at all. I'm just like, yeah, so.
And you're petting her like a cat.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, guys, we kind of we're running late in a way because we had some technical issues. I think we're going to go just about 5-10 more minutes. Con,
Could I say something real
go
quick?
for it, man.
I wanted to talk about this before, and I totally spaced out. But have you guys ever seen this?
Yes, I own
Cella,
it.
this
The
big
big ass thing of Cella.
Okay, Christmas is coming, folks, and you want to get your friends into wet shaving. And a lot of us are making little kits for our friends. Buy those little tiny half mason jar or those quarter mason jars, and a block of this stuff. Break it up, put it in there, and that'll be the shave soap you gift them. It's super easy to do. You can tie a ribbon around it if you want. But this stuff for the price of, this is like, I don't even know how much is in. It's 1,000 milliliters.
Yeah, it's a ton of. It's a lot of soap.
It is huge.
A
This
kilo
is
of
right.
soap.
So this is a little quick tip to. It even looks like Santa Claus. Like that could be you giving the gift of wet shaving to someone. So just a quick holiday tip for gifting to your soon-to-be wet shaving buddies. Okay.
Yes. So, Con, do we have anything going on in the Twitter world?
No,
Comments,
just a lot
questions?
of just a lot of warm wishes and all that kind of.
Yeah, it's like
Humdrum.
humdrum.
Well,
Yeah.
Christian Grossman, we were talking about this kind of before the show, and I thought it was a good tip. I was telling we're kind of talking about germs and microbes and all this stuff that's growing on your stuff. He was saying even on your soap. I mean, once you introduce water to the soap, you've already kind of contaminated the product.
Oh yeah.
So there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on. So I was telling him, yeah, when I get old vintage razors, I kind of go through this step, and I know I've talked to some vintage collectors where they're like, "Oh, don't do that, don't do that, don't." So I kind of go through a process. I rinse it. I get an old toothbrush like that hasn't been used. I take some dish soap and and kind of scrub it down, let it soak for a while in that, rinse it really good. Then I get scrubbing bubbles, and I kind of spray it down, let it sit for a little while, scrub it again, and then if I know the metal isn't going to react weird with barbicide, I'll let it sit in barbicide for, I don't know, depending on how long.
That's above and beyond, my friend.
I know that. That's probably extreme. Probably you don't need to do it. But you mentioned, and I'll let you finish the sentence.
Yeah.
You said you can do something to a product that will help a lot, and I know Douglas has mentioned this before.
Yeah.
So what is it?
Okay, so just real quick, you're talking. There's two things when you're getting, say, an old razor. There's cleaning it and sanitizing it. Okay, so when you clean it, you can clean it with. The best thing to do is get like an old toothbrush and some soap, any kind of soap that's going to just kind of get any dirt, any residue off. Once that's off and clean, all you really have to do is use a rubbing alcohol or really like a 90% isopropyl alcohol. It's important that you have about 10% water in there, and that all has to do with how it works on a cellular level.
Yeah.
But you want it to sit on it. All it has to do is sit on it. Basically, what we talk about in the business is contact time. You just have to have contact time of 2 minutes. 2 minutes, that's it. Let it sit there after 2 minutes, pull it out, it's dead. It's gone.
Yes, food service. Anyone working in food service knows that as well.
Yeah.
Or should.
Well, I think when he was talking about this, I thought it was an excellent tip, just letting your stuff sit in some isopropyl, I can't even say it, rubbing alcohol, and a couple minutes, and then let it air dry, and then you're good to go. So
I have 91% isopropyl alcohol. Is that okay? Am I gonna damage shit?
You'll be all right.
Yeah, that's
you
1%.
said have at least 10%. So I was like, shit. My bottle's like right here, holding my phone up.
Yeah,
I'm like, damn.
If not, just put a little bit of water in there, or just use your Everclear. That'll work,
Yes.
Yeah, Everclear.
Party.
Everclear will work. Yep.
But dishwasher too, just sticking stuff in the dishwasher. And another thing is if it's like a new old stock type product that hasn't been touched in 100 years, or it's been sitting in a drawer for 100 years, there's nothing still living on that for the most that you have to worry about. So just the alcohol alone is
dust.
I do the alcohol or the dishwasher where it's so hot that it's going to kill whatever's on there.
We just have to come to terms with the fact that Rico is a neurotic mess when it comes to those razors. So
I like scrubbing bubbles is one of my favorite things in the world to use when it comes to razors too. That and a toothbrush. I'll put it in a bowl of hot water, like almost a little under boiling. Put the razor in there. I'll spray it with. I spray it with scrubbing bubbles first in the bowl, and then once that dissolves into a liquid, then I pour in the boiling water on top of that to really get in there, and then I hit it with a toothbrush after that. But I'm a huge fan of scrubbing bubbles.
Well, one of the interesting things we were talking about, when Rico was saying, oh yeah, do this, that, and the other thing, and now you pull it, it's sanitized, but as soon as you touch it, it's not sanitary.
Sanitizing, yeah, exactly. Wear gloves, Rico. Wear gloves. But even the gloves have to be sanitized. So yeah, I'm telling you, people. And this is the culture of razor. Everything has to be sanitary. Everything has to be sterile. And it's like, no, that's the worst way to live your life. You'll get sick all the time if you're not exposed to these things.
That is correct.
So there's that.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a question.
What do we got? Is this on? Let me see.
Con, what are we looking at?
Okay, somebody just asked about sanitizing brushes.
Yes.
What about sanitizing? I mean, which you can't obviously use isopropyl alcohol with or anything like that. Just another thing, I guess we could dispel the myth. Killing microbes, using the word to kill a microbe. Quite often, a lot of these sanitation methods, and I know that Christian, you could chime in here, actually denatures them. Doesn't kill them, but it renders them useless. In other words, they don't reproduce. And I'm thinking of UV light here, for example.
Yes.
UV is a very powerful way of eradicating microbes or harmful microbes. So I think
that's correct. Right.
Yeah.
Well, here's and that is absolutely correct. It denatures the organism. The one thing to remember, and especially when you talk about shave brushes, listen, you unless you're really, really, really ill, if you're autoimmune compromised, you don't have to worry about this. I mean, it's okay to clean them and get the extra suds off or the buildup that you get, the scale. But other than that, as soon as you could denature it or sanitize it, but as soon as you take that denatured or sanitized brush and touch it to your face, all bets are off. You're just smearing around everything that's on there. It's not a bad thing. There are good and bad bacteria. You really don't have to worry about it unless you're really, really seriously ill. At that point, you're not going to want to shave anyway.
Okay. Wow.
And honestly, some of these harsher chemicals that you would use to clean your brush with, even 91% isopropyl alcohol, is some would say it would damage the bristles, the organic bristles or the protein-based filaments, but that damage is not necessarily bad. Sometimes it aids in breaking in the bristles too.
Yeah.
So I want to add that to that.
And if you guys want further tips, I know Douglas has a video on making your own kind of like brush cleaner.
Oh, yeah.
I know Con has a video talking about using borax, making a paste and kind of letting that sit, which I know you might remind me on this, Con. What was the big company that they put that on their note for the brush? Get a little bit of borax. It's one of the big brush makers out there.
Simpsons brushes. Simpsons brushes uses that as
yeah, there's
that's to arrest any acceleration of mold and mildew and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So it retards that kind of
Yeah. So yeah, guys. I mean, I don't want to make this run too long. This has kind of been a big panel. We've had a lot of stuff to talk about. We could talk about more of this stuff down the road. We'll have to have both Christians back on another time, so we could have more in-depth conversations. I find this topic fascinating with the stuff you do, with the work you do, and connecting that with the shaving world. Really awesome information on this.
Sure.
As always, guys, if you want to tweet us or you have any questions or comments, anything like that, WS Roundtable, or you can comment on YouTube, which a lot of you do, so we appreciate you watching every week and doing that. We'll just run down the panel real quick. Christian Grossman, where can people find you if they want to talk shaving with you?
Basically, I'm on all the shave groups, and you can look me up on Facebook. I'm happy to answer any questions or really friend anybody. I mean, I'm an open book if you want answers. So
yeah,
I'll give you my best answer.
Yeah,
He
Christian's a great guy. I've really enjoyed talking with him before the show. We had a great time chatting, and I'm looking forward to chatting with you more down the road. Christian Levesque, where can people find? I know you plugged it before, but let's plug that Movember teams again real quick. And where can people find you online if they want to?
I don't know if this is showing up. Is this showing up?
Yep.
www.movemberteamhitgam.com or www.hitgameteam.com, and that's where you can get plugged into the Movember. What's going on there?
Yeah.
Did Douglas think of those URLs? Because Jesus Christ, he's just the master of making the longest emails and URLs possible, dude.
You'll remember them though. You'll remember it.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it wasn't. Can you please donate to MovemberForAllOfUs.com
Next year. Next year.
Yeah, next year, exactly.
Next year, just type "I'm donating to HitGam."
Yes. So David, since we're on you, So Sharp Limited, where can people find you?
You could contact me through SoSharpLimited.com. By the way, we are going to have 2 new shirt designs releasing hopefully at the end of this month.
Awesome.
I have another little surprise that'll pop up right there. Yeah, hashtag Shave Life. You could also contact me on all social media outlets, Twitter, Instagram, and on YouTube under SoSharpDavid, all one word.
Yes. Con Kazazitis, where can people find you at, sir?
At Shave the Man and Shave the Man and shavetheman.com.au.
Wait. Shave the man.
Yes, Shave the Man.
Shave the redundant man.
Yeah.
Shave the redundant man. That's
And
right.
speaking of redundancy, Department of Redundancy Department. Wait.
Yeah. Reporting from the Department of Redundancy Department, Douglas Smythe of PhoenixArtisanAccoutrements.com or CrownKingShaving.com or HowToGrowAMustache.com. I'm so excited.
Which will soon change to how to grow a snazzy mustache for the everydayman.com.
Right. I'm stoked, very stoked, and I'm sure the rest of us share the sentiment that Con is with us yet again.
Oh, come on.
Yes.
Two weeks in a row, baby.
I am, there's not enough Con in my life. I was telling him before the show, Con, you better be there.
You're only saying that
Going through withdrawals. Like, we need to put on a show soon. I mean, people are freaking out. Where's Con? What's Con? So, thank you, Con, for joining us.
Yes.
Really,
See if you can get somebody to translate this for you. Familiarité. Ready for this?
I don't know.
Familiarité engendre le mépris.
He called you a dirty name. That's all I know.
Say it one more time. Familiarité engendre le mépris.
Christian,
So
Christian, you're gonna have to PM me what he's saying, but it sounds. I feel icky and
Something like
violated.
Christian can
Something
tell
like
you.
you look like a rat and smell like a tree or something like that.
You know what? Khan is talking about his exclusivity is what makes him special.
Oh, that's like me saying what makes me punk rock is the fact that I'm not.
Yeah. Well, guys, as always, you can find me at Rico's Corner pretty much on every social media thing out there, and you can find us at the Wet Shavers Roundtable on Twitter, on Facebook, on a whole bunch of places. YouTube. Check us out. Thanks again, and we will talk to you guys all later. Hope you have a blessed week. See ya.
Shave on.
Bye-bye.
Oh.